Can Ben 10 solo these SCPs? The SCP Foundation is home to a wide variety of strange creatures, entities, and even aliens. Nothing too out of the ordinary for the boy Ben. Does he defeat these guys like a throwaway villain in a filler episode, or are some of these guys just too much even for Ben? Well, let's dive on in and find out. If this kind of stuff interests you, be sure to like and subscribe, especially since there's a wide variety of SCPs. I could have fit them all in one video. So if your favorite SCP didn't make this video, be sure to let me know in the comments below that you guys want a part 2. So enough with the jibber jabber, let's go right on at it. The first SCP Ben 10 will be up against is a hood classic, SCP-173, also known as the Sculpture. This anomaly is where you play the staring contest of doom, an odd sculpture made of stone and metal-like materials who's completely immobile most of the time when being stared at. Look away or blink just once and you're ending up like Zod. A reverse Medusa effect, if you will. So just stare at it and it's defeated, right? Not that easy. Defeating this thing is almost nigh impossible. It can resist high voltages, bullets, gamma radiation, drowning, immense fires, and the list just goes on. Not only is 173 highly resistant, but it also just stinks, randomly dropping human liquids around it, which can be manipulated into acid, or it can create a twin of itself from those human juices. And somehow this overpowered peanut still got more glaze than the goat. As it's well known, this thing is as fast as you can blink, or really much faster. SCP-173 moving so fast it can't even be picked up by cameras, making it 33 times faster than the speed of sound. So say you were to blink and you thought you could outrun the sculpture? Yeah, that's not happening, my friend.
Well, if I can't outrun it, I'll just throw hands and stop it from getting me.
Yeah, how do we tell them? SCP-173 is scarily powerful as well with its utter broken abilities. The sculpture was capable of destroying bulkheads, which yields enough energy to Thanos snap large buildings away. While also moving at the hypersonic speeds mentioned earlier, it would generate enough kinetic energy to destroy large buildings as well, with maybe even enough kinetic energy to wipe out a city block. So how should Ben take on this SCP? Well, I got just the idea. I'm talking about Eye Guy. Yes, Eye Guy, the alien who's literally covered in eyes and has 360 vision, the biggest counter to SCP-173. So even if Ben needed to blink, he can have several eyes open while the others were blinking. Meanwhile, SCP-173 stuck between 900 ping against this guy. And power-wise, I believe Eye Guy can take the statue down. Eye Guy has a variety of abilities. Vision so good he can even view scent, along with eye lasers that can turn into fire, or into ice, or into electricity. I'm not sure why the writers low-key made him Aang, but we move. And most importantly, he does have the AP to take down SCP-173. Eye Guy is relative in power to Heat Blast, Wild Mutt, and Forearms. These guys having feats that showcase power into the multi-city block ranges to even town-destroying power at a low end, which with SCP-173, it would be unable to fight back due to Eye Guy having 360 vision and potentially getting obliterated by the lasers. Eye Guy actually has dealt with stone monsters before, funnily enough, so he's a potential candidate into defeating SCP-173. But as mentioned earlier, SCP-173 has a ton of resistances, many of which includes Eye Guy's abilities. So you think Eye Guy's AP won't be enough? I have another proposition. The boy Forearms, an all-time classic Ben 10 transformation. Me and my homies love Forearms, you love Forearms, your grandma loves Forearms, the lion with the low taper fade loves Forearms. So why exactly this pick? Well, in one of the SCP-173 articles, it was actually defeated by just a regular guy hammering it down. Pause. Going with that funny interpretation, hand Forearms some sledgehammers and use any of his 4 eyes to blink or keep open, and he could shatter 173 down easily. Which Forearms has also dealt with stone monsters too, while wielding a weapon. So I say this fits. If we keep SCP-173 around this power level and not mention the outer reversal stuff yet. So, on to the next SCP. SCP-096, the Shy Guy. Imagine being so chopped that if anyone takes a gander at your face, they're getting slimed.
It's
That's 096, or the Shy Guy, a Euclid-class pale anorexic humanoid creature who most of the time is harmless, crying in a corner until someone catches sight of its face, causing it to go on an extreme rampage to hunt down and obliterate whoever viewed his face. Even if you view a single pixel of 096's face, you're still on the blick list, and 096 is relentless, chasing you down no matter where you go. The bottom of the ocean? In a plane? In space? Just like DJ Khaled when it comes to chasing down cheeseburgers? There is no escape. 096 will always find you. And not only is 096 relentless, but powerful as well. You cannot easily get rid of him either. The Shy Guy is bulletproof, tanking 600 rounds of 50 caliber bullets. Even 173 had a hard time breaking 096's indestructible skeleton. In strength, 096 is capable of flipping semi-trucks and breaking steel walls, easily making 096 powerful enough to destroy large buildings to even city blocks due to his scaling to 173. And if bro really crashes out, he can do much worse, but we're not going to get into it in this video at least. So how should Ben handle this situation? I propose for a less aggressive encounter actually. My first hypothetical is Ben transforming into Topig, an alien with no noteworthy strength, speed, or abilities except for one thing: being absolutely ugly. A face horrifying the likes of villains who've been through wars and conquered planets, and also scaring brainless enemies who feed on fears. So if SCP-096 were to look at Topig's face, would he be scared? Or even find relatability in a creature who also hides their face, and when other people see it, tragedy happens? Or, you know, 096 will try to slaughter him. So if that doesn't work, I still want to try to calm the Shy Guy down rather than hurt him. So my next hypothetical is if Ben transformed into Pesky Dust, a fairy-looking alien who specializes in mind hacks or sleep hacks. In this form, Ben was able to put Kuiper the Huntsman in a sleeping state where he was once aggressive, bloodthirsty personality was shifted to a friendlier, more gullible state. With 096, it had an encounter with 049, where instead of being aggressive towards him, he actually found solace in him, implying the Shy Guy is mentally suffering to some extent. And when SCP-978, the camera, when used on a person or creature, reveals their greatest desire, and when it was used on 096, the photo only showed emptiness, implying the Shy Guy might not want to exist, which might further add to the creature's possible mental suffering. So if Pesky Dust was able to spray his dust on 096, would it calm him down? Would it put him in his desired dream world? Based on other studies, this could possibly happen. But if that doesn't work, let's get back to the good old box him up strat. And for this, I think Ben should transform into Goop. At first, this seems like a bizarre pick, but it all comes from one of 096's possible defeats. In the 173 versus 096 altercation, 173 snapped 096's indestructible body apart so much it actually tore open his bones, allowing the SCP Foundation to pump acid into the Shy Guy, and thus dissolving and melting him. How does Goop play into this? Well, Goop, despite being just a green jello, is insanely strong. And I don't mean something light like lifting a few hundred pounds. How about holding an entire planet together? So, yeah, using the articles that claim an AT4 enough to snipe off 096's torso, Goop should be more than strong enough to crush those bones and then use his acid to melt 096 down. But hopefully, Ben wouldn't have to resort to this option, as it seems 096 is a tragic SCP, who really just wants to be left alone. Hopefully Pesky Dust can give that man some peace. Finally, on to the next deadly SCP. SCP-999. The scariest one of them all. If you get spooked easily, I recommend you sleep with the lights on after this one, and I would also recommend you take none of what I just said about 999 seriously at all. This guy is the complete opposite of frightening, and is the friendliest SCP, being a literal conductor of happiness, having the ability to cure depression and even make hostile SCPs cheer up. This SCP is here not to be a challenge for Ben, but rather to showcase how versatile SCPs can be, not always being murderous monsters. So, Ben doesn't need to transform here, just enjoy the good vibes in 999. On to the next SCP. SCP-3000, or also known as Anastasia, an eel-like creature who lies in the deep depths of the ocean. This Thumio-class SCP is enormous, ranging in size from 600 to 900 kilometers long. That's nearly as long as KSI's forehead! If megalophobia wasn't enough, 3000's mere existence causes beings around it immense headache, panic, memory loss, and just makes people go absolutely insane. The SCP Foundation risked it all for this gray liquid 3000 releases known as the Y909 compound. which is used to help keeping the organization private and helping others forget memories they don't want to keep. That is, if 3000 didn't already chomp on you beforehand. Due to its immense size, just by simply moving, 3000 should generate enough energy to destroy islands to even countries. Without even going into its possible abstract cosmic existence, it's one of the most powerful SCPs. So for Ben 10, he would have to go pretty serious for this one. Since this SCP is so big, I think Ben should go way big. Horrific puns aside, Way Big is one of Ben's most powerful aliens, launching Vilgax, his biggest op, into space and then fighting interdimensional destroying cosmic beings. One of Way Big's best feats is when he lifted a hyperspace jump gate, which weighs more than the moon. Doing this has enough energy to destroy countries, and with his cosmic ray, he actually has the power to obliterate planets. In this scenario, after we sacrifice a D-class to be free eats for 3000, its mind hacks become less threatening, allowing Way Big to jump down there and either BFR the eel and launch it into space or atomize it with the cosmic ray, and that would be another SCP down for the books. Now, we're on to the final SCP. 682, the hard to kill reptile. A Keter class fan favorite who's an absolute unit. He has a hatred for humanity and is a son of an extreme cosmic being that we will save for another time. He's the doomsday of the SCP universe. The title hard to kill is not even close to an exaggeration. If I go over every little to big thing 682 has adapted to, this video will go on for so long that GTA 6 would have dropped by now. Just to highlight some of his best adaptations, he's 096 proof, 173 proof, can resist temperatures hotter than the sun, can escape through dimensions, survive being destroyed to an atomic level, can exist even when existence has been erased. Oh, and it has literal plot armor, bending an entire narrative to its will. And that's only some of his resistances. I forgot to mention what happens when he attacks. When he's launched into space, he grew to the size of Saturn and consumed planets to solar systems. He can generate black holes, grew to the size of the universe, and then eventually becoming so powerful he boxed with SCP-3125, an SCP who is munching up the noosphere, to the point even DJ Khaled would be impressed. What's the noosphere? Just the multiverse times infinity, plus all of reality and existence? Yeah, to put it lightly, this guy can become insanely powerful. How can Ben handle this guy? Well, at first, he can use any of his weaker aliens on 682, boxing them up until he sees 682 just tanks everything, or adapts and becomes a direct counter to his aliens, leaving Ben only one choice. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We are no longer gatekeeping Ben's strongest aliens from my videos. 682 requires Alien X. Ben's most powerful transformation is a Celestial Sapien, who can casually recreate entire universes. With just a fraction of his power, Ben could break fifth dimensional barriers, aka a level of power incomprehensible to anything in the known universe. And Alien X outscales Professor Paradox and Eon, who wield gadgets capable of destroying all of existence. The Ben 10 universe being made of at least 26 spatial dimensions, this could mean Alien X could be 26 dimensions or even higher. Is Alien X enough to annihilate 682 though? Possibly. No? When 682 reaches its insane tiers of power, it gets to a level that's beyond dimensionality, which Alien X could possibly reach too, but there's not as much evidence to suggest so. He's more closer in the hyperversal tier. This might be Ben's first L. But what do you guys think? Is Alien X strong enough to exterminate 682? Do you have outerversal arguments for him? I would love to hear them. Or do you guys think 682 is too much for even Alien X? Let me know in the comments below. Also, if you're interested in a part 2, be sure to like and subscribe, and comment any SCPs you would like to see in part 2. But with all of that out of the way, I'll catch y'all later.